Registrar to you, my lord.
Yes, yes, I hear.
Yes. The matter stood down to today for cross-examination by Advocate Mnisi.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Mnisi? Is it Mr. Mogola first?
My lord, just one issue. I just want to address the court on one issue.
Oh, I see.
Yes. My lord, yesterday there is one proposition that I made. It is in connection with the buccal swabs. The buccal swabs were sealed, packed and sealed and forwarded to the Forensic Science Laboratory. And they were analyzed by one of the witnesses, Captain Mamshe Definias Maseta.
Captain Ma?
Maseta.
Maseta, yeah, fine.
The report, my lord, is compiled and it is under Exhibit X12 of the record. So, there is a proposition that I made to the witness yesterday that the results were negative.
They were?
They were negative. And then the court suggested that the term that was used was inconclusive.
Yeah.
I just want to take the court to this paragraph of the report by Captain Maseta.
Yeah, fine.
Yes. My lord, it is at paragraph 4.1 of the report.
Yeah.
At page 4 of 5. It reads as follows. The donors of the following reference samples were excluded as the donors of the DNA on the swabs 1. 14 DCA H8988 in bracket PA 400-2150-107 and head B presumable high friction area PA 3000-788-535 Phosphorus CAS 636 of 10-2014 4.1.1 MZ Mapisa open bracket 19 dBA F0198 close bracket open bracket PA 400 4638062 and Mapisa Mthokoziseni open bracket 13 dBA D5906 close bracket open bracket PA 500 217 76171 close bracket. So it is upon that proposition, my lord, that the terminology that I used was that the results were negative. Hence, the right terminology that was used by the person who examined the records was that the swabs were excluded. I mean, the swabs that were taken from accused number 4, Mr. Mapisa, were excluded. Yeah. So I think the correct terminology would be that they were excluded. So not that they were inconclusive.
Not that they were?
Inconclusive. They were excluded.
What's the difference, Mr. Louis? Excluded, not conclusive.
I think the witness did explain, my lord, that the reference sample can be read on certain loci.
That's it.
He said out of the 16 loci, he can be read in on 4 of those.
That's it.
And, you know, those will be the first one, the gender, it can be read in there, and the second one, the one starting with D56818, that he can also be read there. So, all in all, my lord, he said, out of the 16 loci, he can be read in 4. So
in 4,
it doesn't mean that, well, in his language, it's either if they don't get a full house or a certain number of loci, it's either included or excluded, but it's the interpretation thereof, my lord, that is crucial.
Yeah, fine. So what's the problem, Mr. Mogola?
There is no problem, but...
Oh, there's no problem. What are we talking about then?
there's no problem. It's just the use of the terminology
Or
that
the
it's
use of the
inconclusive.
language.
The use of the language.
It was used by him, not me.
It was used by him. They were excluded.
Yeah,
so
I
they
say
cannot be read.
He uses that terminology. You are saying negative.
Negative and
then he says they are excluded.
They cannot be read into the.
But the point is, your client cannot be said to be positively identified by the analysis.
Yes.
That's
yes.
good.
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
Excluded. Thank you.
Yes, we are still under oath, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi.
As it please the court, my lord. Thank you, ma'am. I think on the last point, you would agree that the evidence that has been referred to by my colleague here on behalf of accused number 4 also relates to accused number 3, where the samples that you testified about having been collected from accused number 3, the end results thereof are that accused number 3 could not have been or is not linked with the samples that were collected in the house. I mean, with the evidence that was collected in the house.
In respect of accused number 3?
Yes.
My lord, what I was briefed by Brigadier Kininda, my lord, is that even though they may say it is excluded, my lord, it does not necessarily mean that they have never been into the house. This is what he has explained to me. It's just that it's like maybe the DNA was not enough for the analyst to come to that conclusion. This is what I understood when he told me.
Ngokufanayo ke naloku ummeli kaMangalelwa wesine aqeda ke manje okhuluma ngako ukuthi yebo kunalobufakazi obathathwa ke lokubizwa ngokuthi ama-swab la kuyena ke kuyoqhathaniswa ke nobufakazi noma ke ulibofuzo olatholakala kwindawo yesigameko nakumsolo wesithathu ke kukanjalo ukuthi ke akukho okwatholakala okushoyo noma ungathi ke kuwahlanganiswa nobufakazi obatholakala kwindawo yesigameko. Mina ke engakutshelwa uBrigadier Kininda ukuthi noma kungazange kutholwe ke okubahlanganisayo lokho akusho ukuthi babe ngekho khona lapha, ukuthi nje lo owayecwaninga akazange athole okwanele ukuthi ahlanganiswe noma asho ke ngophelele ukuthi ngempela babe khona lapha, kodwa lokho akusho ukuthi babe ngekho lapha endlini. Yiloko engakutshelwa uBrigadier Kininda.
Thank you, ma'am. You're just a messenger. I'm putting it to you that what we heard from Mr. Kininda is just a hogwash. It's just nonsense. The analysis, the experts are saying they are not linked. That's final. What I said to you is immaterial. But nonetheless, good morning, ma'am.
You are wrong.
As a court,
Please.
I'm not wrong, my lord. Mr. Kininda is not an expert.
Let's hear.
Well, to start with, my lord, I think the language that Advocate Mnisi is employing is unacceptable. But secondly, what this witness is saying is perfectly in line with the expert said.
That's it.
Out of the 16 loci, he said that accused number 3 can be read in 7, of those 16. So it's a question of interpretation.
This is not a question of interpretation. I think the state misunderstands the reading of his own report. The final product of this report, my lord, is that the donors of the following reference samples were excluded as the donors of the DNA. What else must be understood by the term excluded?
Let's make progress. You can argue that later.
I'm putting to the
because
witness.
This witness is not an expert, an DNA
Exactly.
analyst.
That is what I'm saying, my lord, that what he heard from Mr. Kininda does not make sense, which is why I'm saying it's nonsense. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Council.
Thank you. Now, before we proceed, ma'am, let me bring the following to your attention. You could have been called by the state as a member of the South African Police Services, but the minute you enter that box as a witness here at court, you're regarded as an officer of the court. The duty that you have as you're standing here is the duty towards this court that involves honesty and sincerity. You are there to assist the court to come to a correct finding in this trial. You are not here to assist the state to win the case or to lose the case. Do you understand? Sincerity and honesty. Do you understand? Do you understand?
No, I don't understand.
Let me repeat again.
Because I don't need you to
Let
lecture
me
me
repeat
about
again.
that,
I'm not
because I
lecturing
know
you.
very well why I'm here. So you don't have any, like you don't have authority to address me on that because I know why I'm here.
Ma'am,
And you leave the judgment to the judge. The judge is the one who's supposed to make a finding on what I have delivered into this court.
ma'am, your duty, as you are standing,
Can Advocate Mnisi just get on with his cross-examination? The witness has said she's aware, she's duly aware why she's here. It would take us absolutely nowhere to keep on belaboring
Mr.
this
Mnisi.
point.
the state is wrong, my lord.
Progress.
This witness just said she does not understand me. So I wanted to simplify what I told this witness. Instead of the witness affording me the opportunity to repeat in simpler terms what I told her, then she started to lose temper.
I don't understand why you are putting that statement to me. That is what I don't understand.
There's nothing wrong with what I've said to you, ma'am, and please don't argue.
No, I'm not arguing.
Please don't argue.
I'm responding to what you're
I've
saying.
just told you that as you stand there, you're standing there as an officer of the court. You're not there, although we are working for SAPS, you are here to assist the court to come to a correct finding. And
he
that
working- is she
involves the
working for
element
SARS
of
now?
honesty
Hello?
and sincerity.
Is she working for SARS?
SAPS.
SAPS.
I don't say SARS,
Oh, I
SAPS,
see,
South
okay.
African Police Services.
But why should we have this lecture?
It's not a lecture, my lord.
No, you are
This
lecturing
is
him.
no,
wait,
no,
Mr.
no.
Mr.
This is-
Mnisi.
This is perfectly
Mr. Mnisi,
correct.
This witness.
Yes.
How many times have you given evidence in court, ma'am?
Several times, my lord.
About how many? Can you estimate?
Probably, my lord, about, I don't, maybe 100 times.
And each time you take an oath to tell the truth.
Exactly, my lord.
Yes, Mr. Mnisi, let's go on with the job,
It
please.
could be that each time she takes an
No,
oath.
that question is disallowed now. It's disallowed.
On what basis, my lord?
Because I'm the judge. It's disallowed.
That
Just
is a
ask
very
questions.
unfair approach, my lord. That's a very unfair approach.
It's not an
Because
unfair
then the-
approach. I've ruled that, please, cross-examine this witness. Don't lecture him.
This is not a lecture, my lord.
It is, according to me.
I've got a different understanding with the term lecture, my lord. But my aim is not to lecture this witness.
Can you
However, if
please
the court perceives what I'm
proceed
saying as a
and
lecture, then it's fine.
cross-examine
I
the
can't
witness?
change the court. The
If you
manner
don't
in
have
which
any
the court
cross-examination,
is
fine.
thinking. Thank you. Now, you were testified in the trial within a trial on how you arrested accused number one. Do you still remember?
I do remember, my lord.
Ngiyakhumbula ke ufakazi bami ngibethulile ke mala ngendlela ke engabopha ngayo umsolo wokuqala.
Amongst others, what you said is that when you in the company of Mr. Buthelezi went to arrest accused number 1, you found certain items at the place in which he was staying. Do you still remember that?
I still remember, my lord.
Ngisakhumbula ke nongakusho ngathi ke nkathi ngihamba naye ke uButhelezi ke ngathi sobamba yena ke umsolo wokuqala yiziphi izinto ezatholakala la samthola khona noma samfica ekhona.
Do you still remember what those items were?
That's correct, my lord.
Ngisakhumbula nokuthi kwakuyini lokho.
What were they?
Two cellular phones, my lord.
Umakhala ekhukhwini ababili.
Ammunitions.
Inhlamvu.
Firearm cleaning rod.
Kwakunye nalokho kokubizwa ngokuthi kuyibona ke ukucleana isibhamu noma ke firearm cleaning rod.
A magazine.
Kwakune magazine.
That is all, my lord.
Ikona lokho.
Is that what you said when you testified in the trial within a trial?
In a trial within a trial,
That was my question.
I did not mention the cell phones.
Uma bengifakaza ke ngaphambilini ke ku trial within a trial angikhulumanga ngomakhala ekhukhwini.
Thank you. Now, as you testifying in the main trial, what did you say you found in possession of Mr. Sibiya?
I did mention, my lord, that I found 2 cell phones, a magazine, firearm cleaning rod, and ammunitions.
Mase ngifakaza ke manje ke ngishilo ukuthi ngathola umakhala ekhukhwini amabili kwakuyi magazine lokho kusetshenziswa ke ukuthi ke ucleaneke sona isibhamu.
Ammunitions.
Neinhlamvu.
Thank you. Now, you just indicated that when you testified in a trial within a trial, you omitted to mention the 2 cell phones, not so?
That's correct, my lord.
Ngiqeda ukusho ukuthi ama cell phone kodwa wona ke ngaphambilini angiwashongo.
What was the reason why you did not mention the 2 cell phones when you testified about arrest of accused number 1 in the trial within the trial?
My lord, I do not have any reason why I did not make mention of the 2 cell phones.
Anginaso ke sizathu enginaso noma esibe imbangela yokuthi ngingawasho ke ama cell phones la amabili ngaphambilini.
Thank you. Do you still remember again that Mr. Buthelezi, who works for the Metro Police, in the SWAT unit of the Metro Police, also gave testimony on how he assisted you to arrest accused number 1? Do you still remember that?
May you please repeat your question?
I am saying, do you still remember that Mr. Buthelezi, who works for the Metro Police, Eguruleni Metro Police in the SWAT unit, also came and gave testimony in support of how he assisted you in the arrest of accused number 1?
My lord, he did. I know that he came to court to testify as to how he presented his evidence. My lord, I'm not aware.
Ngamusakhumbula yini ke uButhelezi owahamba naye ke naye uthola ubufakazi ukuthi wakulekelela kanjani ke ekubopheni yena ummangalelo wokuqala. Ngiyazi ukuthi ke weza ke ezofakaza ke naye kodwa ukuthi ke ubufakazi bakhe wabethula kanjani angikwazi lokho.
Mr. Buthelezi told the court exactly what you told the court on how and what items were found on Mr. Sibiya when he was arrested, as per your testimony in the trial within the trial.
I understand.
Ngiyakuzwa ke uma uthi ke naye ke ufakaze washo ngalendlela nami ke engafakaza ngayo ukuthi yini esazithola kuyena umangalo wokuqala.
He confirmed what you said in the trial within the trial, that in the possession of accused number 3, accused number 1, ammunition, a magazine, and a cleaning rod that were found in his possession. That confirmed what you also said in your testimony in a trial within a trial. Do you understand?
I understand.
Ngiyakuzwa-ke uma uthi naye-ke ushilo ukuthi kwatholakala emagazini iy'nhlamvu kanye-ke nalokhu-ke kokulina isibhamu.
He did not mention that they also found cell phones in possession of accused number one. Could he also have forgotten, as you had forgotten, to mention that in your evidence in a trial within a trial?
Please, with due respect, may you please ask that question to Constable Buthelezi.
Ingabe naye-ke wakhohlwa-ke njengoba nawe wakhohlwa-ke ukuthi ukusho lokho mayelana namakhalekhukhwini laba ababili, ngizocela-ke ukuthi lowo mbuzo-ke lowo ubuze kuyena-ke uConstable Buthelezi.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to request the state to call him so that I'm going to ask him that question. But briefly, let me put it to you, ma'am. That you are being dishonest with the court when you testified in this main trial that when you arrested accused number one, being assisted by Mr. Buthelezi, you also found cell phones in his possession.
My Lord, there were 2 cell phones, my Lord, that were found in possession of accused number 2. There is also, my Lord, SAP-13, my Lord, to confirm that.
Ngizothi-ke mina-ke awukhulumanga iqiniso-ke la uma ukuthi-ke kwatholakala amakhalekhukhwini ababili nkathi ibopha umsolo wokuqala kunamakhalekhukhwini ababili abatholakala uma kuboshwa yena-ke uMangalelwa wesibili futhi-ke khona-ke ne-SAP-13 etshengisa lokho.
Accused number 1, not accused number 2.
Uyakulungisa-ke bekushilo uthi accused number 1 hayi number 2.
What is even worse in terms of the explanation that you're trying to give here is the fact that you said, Mr. Buthelezi, it's him who actually found those phones in the possession of accused number one, as per your testimony in this main trial, not in the trial within the trial.
That is correct, my Lord. He's the one, my Lord, who seized the cell phones from accused number 1.
Kuyiqiniso-ke lokho ukuthi uButhelezi uyena-ke owathatha labo makhalekhukhwini uMangalelwa wokuqala.
As I put it to you, you're just manufacturing a version to suit the circumstances of, or to suit a narrative of what you want the court to hear in terms of how the cell phone were found in possession of accused number 1. And that was a lie.
That is not a version, my Lord, to which I just created or formulated, my Lord. I am referring to the SAP-13, my Lord, whereby, my Lord, the items were documented.
Akusiyona-ke into nje lena ingathi nje ngiza nayo-ke noma ngiyayicabangela ngishilo ukuthi khona i-SAP-13 lapho amakhalekhukhwini lapho ababhalwa khona.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, Mr. Kininda comes and tells this court that on a particular day, he receives a call from the National Commissioner where the National Commissioner requests him to take over the investigation of the case, which is a subject here at court. That's just the background. That is what he told to this court. And then he says to the National Commissioner, say, I am your servant. I'm willing to do that. Do you understand?
I understand.
Subsequent thereto, Mr. Kininda then assembles a team to assist in the investigation of the case. With your experience, probably he also ropes you in. With Mukhane's experience, probably he ropes him in. With the gentleman that passed on Mabena, with his experience that I don't know, he probably ropes him in. And the others that I do not know. Do you understand?
I understand.
Yakuzwa-ke ukuthi uGininda wathola ucingo kuSithole ukuthi-ke akaholeke ithimba eliphenya lokuqala wase naye-ke ehlanganisela-ke lelo thimba lelo wena uMukhane noMabhena.
Now, when you started to prefer your evidence in this main trial, you introduce yourself as an investigator of this court, not so?
That's correct, my lord.
Ngishilo-ke manje ngethula-ke la inkantolo ukuthi ngumphenyi.
What did you mean by that?
I meant I was part of the investigation team.
Bengikusho-ke bengithi-ke ngiyingxenye yethimba eliphenyayo.
What was Mogola in this team?
He was also part of investigation team.
Mogola naye-ke wayeyingxenye yethimba eliphenyayo.
Who is or who was he? In fact, who is he in this team?
Who is Mogola?
Yes. I know he's a policeman. Is he an investigator or who is
Investigating as well, my lord.
Naye uyaphenya uMogola.
Thank you. Now, as an investigating team, as part of the the team, understand is led by Kininda. Did you at any point go introduce yourself to the family of the deceased?
Never, my lord, been to the family of the deceased.
Angikazeke ngiye kumndeni wakhe umufi.
When I say you, I don't mean you as a person or as a singular investigator. I mean the team in plural. Did you do that?
I'm not aware, my lord, of others, my lord, if they've been to the family of the deceased.
Angazi-ke ngabanye noma bona-ke sebeke baya yini kumndeni wakhe-ke washona.
If they did, would you have not known that?
No, my lord.
Why?
As I said, there are things which I do not know, because sometimes they go investigate and then maybe, as I said before, that I'll be maybe busy with other investigations or even be out of the province, my lord. So it's not everything, my lord, that they will report to me, as I am not the lead investigating officer.
Uma kuwukuthi-ke babeyile wawuzokwazi yini lokho ukuthi cha isizathu bese ngishilo-ke ngaphambilini ukuthi ikhona-ke izinto ongangizazi nengangazazi kokunye uthole ukuthi bahambile bayophenya nami-ke khona okunye engikwenzayo noma engikuphenyayo mhlambi ngiphumile nakwisifunda lesi.
Ma'am, look, just to go and introduce yourself to the family of the deceased, it does not take rocket science to have known that my other team members have been to the family of the deceased, even though I wasn't there, just to go and introduce our presence, in this case, formally to the family members of the deceased, such that if there's something that we want to get on how this incident happened, they should not be surprised that one time there's this team, then the other time there is this team. That would not have been a problem, not so. You would have known that.
My lord, I'm answering for myself. You can maybe put the question that you're asking to them.
Mina ngiphendulela mina-ke ukuthi-ke kwangasinkinga-ke noma into engangizoyazi leyo mhlambe lo mbuzo usungawubuza kubona-ke mina ngiphendula mina.
Ma'am, are you trying to tell the court, or are you saying to this court that the manner in which you did this investigation, in this case, was a disjointed one, was a disjointed approach, a fragmented approach, such that other things you knew, such that other things you did not know?
My lord, there is a lead investigating officer, my lord, who is the one who was giving task, my lord, to the members.
Ingabe uthi indlela enaniphenya ngayo lana-ke indlela nje eyayingahlangene kunezinto wawuzazi ongazazi ezinye indlela le inanisebenza ngayo ngishilo ukuthi kwakunomphenyi okuyena-ke oholayo kwakuyena-ke ositshelayo noma oshoyo-ke ukuthi yenza lokhu wena noma omunye yenza lokhu.
And each and every member, my lord, will give reports according to what he was tasked, my lord, to the lead investigating officer, my lord, who is not just a lead investigating officer, my lord, he's a brigadier in the South African Police Service.
Futhi umuntu ngamunye-ke kulabo abanikezwe umsebenzi ukuthi bayowenza uzobuya-ke aze kulo okuyena ohola ithimba azoshoka ukuthi wenzeni utholeni kulokho abekwenza kulowo-ke ohola ithimba ongasiyona nje oholayo kodwa-ke obrigadier emaphoyiseni.
That's exactly my gist as a so-called brigadier in the South African Police Services. according to you, you did not have information that the team that he had assembled, or even he himself, went to the family members of the deceased to introduce himself or the team at large. Now my question is, are you then saying to this court that the manner in which you investigated this case was a fragmented one? One was doing whatever he wanted to do, the other one wanted to do whatever he did.
I think reference to Brigadier Gininda as a so-called brigadier is unacceptable.
So-called?
May Advocate Mnisi withdraw that, my lord.
I'm also a so-called judge. Doesn't worry me. Yes, continue.
I don't know who said that, my lord, that you are also a so-called judge.
I'm telling you that I am a so-called judge. Nobody called me that.
Who says that, my lord? That you are a so-called judge?
It's Mr. Baloyi is objecting to you calling Gininda a so-called brigadier. So I say, even me, I'm a so-called judge. I don't have problems with that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's fine, man. I mean, everybody, you know, people will call everybody a so-called.
Yes.
Yes, it's fine. Is that what you're saying, ma'am?
That is not what I am saying. As I said before, my lord, that each and every task that I was been given by Brigadier Gininda, I will go back and report to him what is it that I have done.
Asikhona-ke engikushoyo mina lokhu wena okushoyo ukuthi nje umuntu ebezenzela kwakhe noma omunye ayele ngishilo ukuthi uma kuwukuthi kunomsebenzi engiyonike uBrigadier Gininda ngangizobuya ngize kuyena-ke ngimtsheleke ukuthi ngenzeni ngalokho ebethe angiyokwenza.
Ma'am, you said what was your experience at the time at which you became part of this investigation team?
What was my experience?
Yeah, in the South African Police Services. How long have you been in the South African Police Services when you were appointed as part of the investigation team?
My lord, it could be that I was probably about 15 years in the South African Police Service, my lord, and in investigation, my lord, division, it could be maybe about 6 years. 6 or 8.
Kungenzeka ukuthi ngaleso sikhathi leso bayingxenye yethimba eliphenyayo la ngineminyaka ewu15 ngiyiphoyisa kodwa ke kule hlangothi lolu oliphenyayo mhlambe iminyaka ewu6 noma ewu8.
Yes, with a 16-year experience as a police, did you not see it necessary that as you are taking over investigation in this case, you needed to go introduce yourself to the family members of the deceased?
My lord, as for me, I have never received any instructions from Brigadier Gininda to say, go to the family of the deceased and introduce yourself. And as I have indicated that I don't know about them, if they have ever been to the family of the deceased or not.
Mina ke ngikhuluma ngami ke manje angikaze ngitshele uyena uBrigadier Gininda ukuthi hamba uye kumndeni ke uyozethula bona ke ukuthi manje uyingxenye ephenyayo kulecala ukuthi bona ke bakwenza lokho noma cha angazi.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, must I then understand you to mean that you started to investigate the case without having seen the family members of the deceased?
Me, yes, that's correct, my lord.
Uma ukhuluma ngami ke yebo ngaqala uphenya ke icala ngakaze ngayobabona abomndeni.
Thank you. Now, you would also recall that this incident happened at Foslores, at a particular house at Foslores. In terms of the evidence that is before court, there were 7 occupants in that house. Do you still remember that? Or do you know that?
I do know that, my lord.
Thank you.
Ukuthi ke kwakunabantu abangaki ke noma abantu abawu7 ngaphakathi ke endlini noma njengoba isigameko senzeka Foslores yebo ngiyakwazi lokho.
Now, when you took over this investigation in this case, did you ever take time to go and talk to those people?
My Lord, I still say that I have never received, my Lord, any instruction from Brigadier Kininda, my Lord, to say I must go and interview the people who were in the house.
Ingabe wahamba-ke noma nahamba-ke ukuthi niyokhulumisana nalabo bantu labo ngisasho-ke ukuthi angikaze ngitshelwe-ke noma ngitholeke umlayezo ukuthi usuka kuyena uBrigadier Kininda ukuthi angihanga nje ngiyokhuluma nabo labo bantu labo ababesendlini.
The only person.
So what you're saying is that
Can I?
being, excuse me?
I'm proceeding.
What?
Just still proceeding.
Oh, okay, she still wants to
yes,
continue.
yes.
No, it's fine, continue.
My Lord, I remember now that there is only one person, my Lord, whom I went to obtain a statement from. That was according to the instruction.
Yes.
Ngiyakhumbula-ke manje ukuthi kunomuntu oyedwa engahamba-ke ngayothatha istatement kuyena-ke nalokho kusemuva kokuthi ngatshelwa-ke ukuthi angikwenze lokho.
Who's that person?
Is Mthokozi Sithwala.
Mthokozi Sithwala loyo.
Thank you. And you went to Mthokozi Sithwala as per instructions from Mr. Kininda.
I went to him as per the instructions, my Lord, because I will...
From Mr. Kininda?
From Brigadier Kininda,
Yes.
Ngaya-ke kuyena uMthokozisi emuva kokuthi ngitsheliwe-ke uyena uBrigadier Kininda.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, am I then correct to understand you to be saying that you embarked in a process of investigation in this case without having a background from the people who were in the house as to what exactly could have happened at the time at which this incident took place?
My Lord, I still say I was acting upon Brigadier Kininda's instruction, as he is the lead investigating officer, my Lord. He's the one, my Lord, who was driving an investigation as a senior member, as a lead investigating officer.
Ingabe uthi-ke manje naqala uphenyo-ke ningayanga kulaba bantu ababesendlini-ke niyozwa kubona-ke ukuthi banichazeleke ukuthi kwenzekani. Ngisasho-ke ukuthi mina ngisebenza ngokwalokho engangitshelwa uyena-ke uBrigadier Kininda nanjengoba kwakuwuyena oholayo.
My question is, as an investigator or as one of the investigators in this case, you embarked on a process of investigation in this case without having had, visited, or interviewed those people who were in the house to get a background of how exactly this incident took place. Is that what you're saying?
This is what I am saying, my Lord.
Ingabe uthi-ke naqala-ke uphenyo lolu ningazange niye-ke kubantu labo niyokhulumisana nabo nizwe kubona ukuthi kwenzekani yilokhu engikushoyo.
What was your basis for the investigation of this case, ma'am? Where did you get the information on what could have happened in the house?
My Lord, I was obviously briefed by the Brigadier, and also, my Lord, there are other statements which I have read.
Manje uma suphenya-ke ukuthi kwakuyini akuholayo-ke kutshelayo ukuthi-ke yini ekufanele uyenze noma uyiphenye-ke ngokuthi ngitshelwe uyena-ke uBrigadier nokuthi futhi khona nezinye-ke iy'tatimende engangiyifunda.
What statements are those?
I can't remember now, but there are certain statements, my Lord, which I have read.
Angisayikhumbuli-ke manje ukuthi yiziphi kodwa zikhona-ke iy'tatimende engayifunda.
Would you like an opportunity to refresh your mind so that you are direct in answering my question when I say what statements are those?
No, my Lord, I do not want an opportunity, my Lord.
Ungabe ufuna ithuba yini lokuthi uyikhumbuzeke uzokwazi ukuthi uphendule ngqo-ke kulokhu kubuzayo? Cha, angicela ithuba-ke.
Then what statements are those?
I don't know, because there are several statements which I have read.
Manje-ke yiziphi lezo zitatimende angazi ngoba ke kuney'tatimende-ke ey'ningi engayifunda.
Ma'am, it is common cause. It's an open secret that this case is investigated by two teams. the team that you also part of, and the other team, that comprises of Mr. Buthelezi, Ms. Buthelezi and Mr. Makubo. I take it you know that.
I am aware, my lord.
Ngicabanga ukuthi uyazi-ke ifihlo-ke nje lena-ke noma eyaziwa-ke noma ubani-ke ukuthi bakunamathimba amabili-ke aphenyayo la, yileli wena-ke oyingxenye yalo naleli holwa noma kwakukhona uButhelezi noMakhubo. Yebo, ngiyakwazi lokho.
Did you and your team at any point had a meeting or meet the team that was comprising of Mr. Makubo and Ms. Buthelezi, meet just to discuss the nitty-gritties of this case, on how the investigation was, how far were they with their investigation, like as in the meeting of the minds? Did you ever do that?
My lord, there was one instance whereby Brigadier Kininda instructed me, my lord, to take the dockets, my lord, and meet Colonel Buthelezi, my lord, and make copies of all the dockets. That was the only incident whereby I have met with her.
Ingaba khona yini la nahlangana khona-ke leli okulona ithimba liyohlangana-ke naleli kaButhelezi kanye noMakhubo la nihlanganisa khona amakhanda-ke nikhulume-ke mayelana nophenyo lwaleli cala. Ngikhumbula nje ihlandla elilodwa la khona ngacela uyena uBrigadier Kininda ukuthi-ke angithathe idokodo ngiye kuyena-ke uButhelezi bese ngenza amakhophi-ke amadokodo. Yiloko nje kuphela ngikhumbulayo.
So in a sense, what you're telling this court, there was never a stage where the two teams sat down and discussed the facts of the case. As members of the same employer, that is South African Police Services, you never did that, except for you to having went to Ms. Buthelezi to go and make copies of the docket that you've just referred to now.
My lord.
Yes.
Me, as Sergeant Mogola,
Yeah.
I've never sat with them and discussed the case with them. I'm not sure about others.
Ngikhuluma ngami-ke manje uSergeant Mogola angazi ngihlaleke nabo sidingideke noma sikhulume ngalo icala leli angazi-ke ngabanye.
Ma'am, if that happened, would you not have known about it?
No, my lord.
Uma kuwukuthi lokho akwenzekile ngabe ongeke ukwazi yini? Cha.
Why?
Simply because I'm not the lead investigating officer.
Isizathu salokho ngoba-ke akusimina ohola ithimba labaphenyi.
Thank you, ma'am. Just a second. Now, with your responses, when you find that the going is getting a bit tough, then you start to say, is this because I'm not the lead investigator? This is what I'm going to do, man. Just a second. You know the state prophet count number? Count number 3 against all these accused persons in a count of robbery with aggravating circumstances. And this is the summary on which they are basing that, that assertion or that allegation against this accused. They are saying in that upon or about the 26th of October 2014 and at or near Vosloorus in the district of Boksburg, the accused did unlawfully and intentionally assault Miss Kelly Kumalo, Gladness Kumalo, and did with force and violence take a Samsung S4 cellular phone, the property or in the lawful possession of Miss Kelly Kumalo or Gladness Kumalo, and did rob. It should have been them, her or them. So the state decided to only write her of the same. Aggravating circumstances present being the fact that the accused made use of a firearm. Are you aware of that charge against these accused persons?
That's correct, my lord.
Kunaleli cala-ke kumacala abawathiswayo abamangalela la kusolwa khona-ke ukuthi ngalo ilanga lesigameko le bashaya-ke uKelly Khumalo, Gladness Khumalo, base bephuca futhi-ke umakhalekhukhwini noma bethatha umakhalekhukhwini obizwa ngokuthi i-S4 ngokuthi-ke ukona konke lokho kwasetshenziswa isibhamu. Uyalazi yini lelo cala? Yebo, ngiyalazi.
Thank you. And because you're not a lead investigator, certain things you do not know in this case. This is what happens. Mrs. Zandi Khumalo came and told this court that when the two intruders got into the house, the one who allegedly had a firearm, in fact, Makhumalo, that's now the old lady, realizing that there were foreigners in their house, grabbed a phone that was on a charger and took it upon herself. But unfortunately, the person who had a firearm realized that she was in possession of the firearm and hit her with an elbow and took the phone from her. Mpinde futhi.
Is that a question?
Did you hear what I said?
No, I was still waiting for you to pose a question. I thought you were just making.
No, it's a background. Did I have asked you whether do you understand what I say?
No, I understand.
Good. That is what, amongst others, Mrs. Zandi Khumalo came and told this court. And the phone that was taken there, it was a Samsung S4. Do you understand?
I understand.
Kokunye-ke okukhulunywe uyena uZandi-ke ukuthi-ke kulaba bantu ababili-ke abangena khona lapho omunye wabo-ke wayephethe isibhamu uma wakhe-ke uyena-ke uMakhumalo wase-ke ethatha-ke umakhalekhukhwini owawuleli khona lapho kwakuyi-S4 lona-ke omunye-ke mbona-ke ukuthi umakhalekhukhwini lowo uthathile-ke wase emshaya-ke ngendololwane waphuca lowo makhalekhukhwini kuyena.
Now, subsequent to what Zandi told this court, Ms. Zandi Khumalo told, well, I'll call her Zandi. There's nothing wrong in that. Judges are also sometimes called the so-called judges. So, subsequent to that, then we had a testimony.
Mr. Mnisi, just have a bit of respect.
As it is the court, my lord.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I deserve to be respected.
Yes.
I'm 78 years old. I've been 50 years in the profession.
Yes, my lord.
I'm sure I deserve to be respected.
As it is the court, my lord. Yes. Now, subsequent to that, Mr. Musia came, the person who took photos of the scene, came and gave his own testimony. Then as a defense, we requested his working copy. Now I'm giving you a background of what actually happened. We requested his working copy. That is all the photographs that he took in the house. In one of the photos, it subsequently transpired that there was a phone that appeared in one of his photos that was lying on the headrest of one of the sofas in the house, and that phone was identified as a Samsung S4. Do you understand that?
I understand, my lord.
Thank you.
Kwesinye-ke seyithombe eza nazo-ke kunomakhalekhukhwini owabonakala-ke owawukhona laphayana kwakuyi-S4 ngiyakuzwa.
Now, in view of what is contained in count number 3 and the subsequent discovery of a cell phone that was lying on the headrest of a sofa, which was also a Samsung S4, do you have any comment?
No comment, my lord.
Manje-ke kulokhu-ke ebengikufundele kona-ke ngithi yileli cala abathweswe ngalo ukuthi-ke bathatha umakhalekhukhwini. Nalokho engiqeda ukusho-ke manje ukuthi kwesinye seyithombe umsiya awayiletha la enkantolo kwatholakala ukuthi kwakunomakhalekhukhwini lapha khona ongafisa ukusho cha akukho.
Thank you. Let me tell you the significance of what I'm saying to you is, or the import of what I'm saying to you is, that in view of the latest discovery of a cell phone that was depicted, which was also a Samsung S4, that was depicted in Mr. Musia's working documents. That's simply indicative of the fact that there was no cell phone that was stolen in the house. Because when he came to take the photos, the cell phone was lying there.
As a court, please, my lord, that is not correct. My recollection is that one of the witnesses, and I think it's Mr. Tumelo Madlala, identified that phone as his.
I did not hear the statement, my lord. May you please repeat?
My lord, we are saying that one of the witnesses did identify this cell phone as his, and according to the evidence, it was Mr. Tumelo Madlala. And in this regard, I just wish to refer the court to page 36 of the proceedings of 7 August 2023, wherein Mr. Madlala testified that he had a phone. It was a Samsung S3, white in color, that he was in possession of on the day. And my recollection is that he did say the phone that was subsequently discovered that Advocate Mnisi says it was an S4, it was actually an S3 that belonged to Mr. Madlala.
Mshushisike kuloko okusho yena-ke u-advocate Mnisi uyaphikisa-ke ukuthi uma kubhekwa-ke ubufakazi obethulwa-ke uyena-ke uTumelo Madlala ku-page 36 ngo-August ka-2023 wayikhomba-ke noma washo-ke ukuthi lo makhalekhukhwini u-advocate Mnisi akhuluma ngakho kwakumakhalekhukhwini wakhe yena Tumelo Madlala kwakuyi-Samsung S3 eyayimhlophe ngombala.
Yes, my lord, as I recollect the evidence of Tumelo Madlala, is that when the intruders came in, he took his phone, ran along with it into a particular room where there were children there, and hid it somewhere on the bedding there, in one of the blankets there. He was not specifically referring to this phone that was found that is depicted on the pictures of Mr. Musia that was on the couch. That is the import of what I'm saying, ma'am. In other words, this count number 3 against this accused number icon, against all these accused persons, is just flawed. It has got no basis. That is what I'm putting to you.
My lord,
as an investigating officer.
We object against that question. It's incorrect. I think if Advocate Mnisi were to read the evidence of Tumelo Madlala in its entirety, he would not persist with that question. We submit that it should not be allowed.
So you're saying that the assertion is incorrect?
Indeed, my lord.
Okay, fine. And he is saying that is the assertion, yes. Mr. Mnisi. Fine. Yes. I will notarize that. And when I write the judgment,
yes,
I shall obviously have read all the evidence. Then I'll make a finding.
Thank you.
Nanjengamanje-ke umshushisi uyacela ukuthi lo mbuzo ungavunyelwa ungaqhubeki mehlulelo uyasho ukuthi usho lokho umnumnisi usho lokho ngizothi-ke ekugcineni-ke uma sengifunda-ke ijudgment mayelana necala leli ngizobe ngifunde inhlangothi zombili.
What's your comment, ma'am?
My lord, what I know, what I can comment on, my lord, is that if there was no evidence, my lord, we will not be having this trial.
Mina-ke eyami impendulo kulokho ukuthi uma bekuwukuthi-ke besingenabo-ke ubufakazi ngabe-ke aliqulwa le cala.
Thank you. Let us proceed. Now you have in no uncertain term told this court that you never gave yourself time to go and consult with the witnesses who were in the house, except to have received information from Brigadier Kininda and having read a statement that you can't remember now, not so?
My Lord, as I've indicated, my Lord, that there is one witness, my Lord, whom, as per the instruction of Brigadier Keninda, I confronted, my Lord, and obtained a statement from him.
Nanjengoba bese ngishilo-ke kubufakazi bami ukuthi-ke ngokuthunywa noma utshelwa uyena-ke uBrigadier Keninda ukuthi kunofakazi oyedwa-ke ngaya kuyena-ke ngase ngithola istatement kulowo fakazi loyo.
Thank you. Now, there's a description of the suspects who, according to the witnesses who were in the house, gave when they made their initial statements immediately the following day after after the incident had taken place. Do you understand?
I understand.
Kunalapho na-ke ofakazi-ke ilanga-ke lilandelayo emuva kokuthi sehlakalo senzeka la abachaza khona-ke abantu labo ababe basho ukuthi ibona abangena endlini.
Do you have a clue of a description that these witnesses gave of how the first intruder looked like when he got into the house?
No, my Lord.
Ingabe uyazi yini nokukhumbula yini-ke ukuthi yini abayisho bathi lo wokuqala owangena wayebukeka kanjani noma waye kanjani? Cha.
Do you know what description did the people who were in the house give as they gave their statement of how the second suspect, according to them, looked like when he got into the house on the date of the incident?
My Lord, what I can recall as I'm standing here, my Lord, is that one was short with dreadlocks, my Lord, and the other one was tall.
Ingabe uyazi yini ukuthi bathi uma bechaza lo wesibili owangena engikhumbulayo nanjengoba ngimelana-ke ukuthi bathi uma bebachaza bathi omunye-ke wayemfishane enama dreadlocks omunye emude.
Where did you get that from?
As I said, there are certain statements which I've read, and also I got the briefing from Brigadier Keninda.
Wakuthola phi-ke lokho nanjengoba ngishilo-ke ukuthi kuney'tatimende engayifunda nokuthi futhi-ke ngabriefwa-ke noba ngatshelwa-ke uyena uBrigadier Keninda.
This witness, whose statement that you read, that describe, I don't know which suspect, as short and dreadlocks, and the other one being tall. Which witnesses are those?
My Lord, I cannot say it in detail, my Lord, which witness is that, my Lord, but I know, my Lord, that there was a short suspect with dreadlocks and a tall suspect, my Lord.
Ibaphi-ke labafakazi labo abachaza ngaleyo ndlela ukuthi omunye wayemfishane enama-dread omunye-ke emude. Angeke ngibasho-ke ngibachaze ukuthi ibaphi, kodwa ngiyazi nje ukuthi kulokho-ke ngakuthola-ke ukuthi babemchaza omunye emfishane nama-dreadlocks omunye wayemude.
Thank you. Let me help you. Now, Mrs. Zandi Kumalo, the very first witness who the state called to come and testify about this incident, this is how he described one of the assailants, or the so-called assailants. That one, the first assailant, or the first intruder, had dreadlocks up to his neck. He was wearing a hat. He had big eyes which were protruding to the outside. And he also had facial contours as if his bones were protruding, or his bones were visible. Yes, visible. And he also had a shiny skin. Do you get that?
I understand.
Nayi-ke indlela-ke uZandile Khumalo amchaza ngayo-ke omunye wabo ukuthi wayemfishane enama-dreadlocks ayefisha lana-ke entanyeni nokuthi futhi ke wayenamehlo amakhulu ke aphumele ngaphandle wayeneyikhomo futhi ke la kuyena ke ebusweni nje ecwebezela. Yebo ngiyakuzwa.
Is that what you could have found or discerned from Ms. Zandi's statement, Zandi Khumalo's statement, as you went through the statement, or you can't remember?
I can't remember.
Thank you.
Ingaba nawe yilokho ke wakuthola ke uma ufunda istatement esikaZandi Khumalo angikhumbuli.
Now, Mthokozi Sithwala described the first assailant in the following way. He was not light, not dark, just light. He had visible cheekbones with dreadlocks up to his neck. He was wearing a hat and also a jersey or a jacket. Is that what you could also discern from Mthokozi Sithwala's statement if you read it, or you can't remember as well?
I can't remember which
Thank
statement,
you.
my lord.
Ingabe nako Mthokozisi ke wathola lokho akushoyo ke noma usakhumbuli ngoba yena ke mkhumshe ngomuntu wayemfishane wayenamehlo wayenama dreadlocks wayifake ijacket angisakhumbuli ke ukuthi siphi statement.
Now, under cross-examination, Mthokozi Sithwala went on to amplify the description that he gave in his statement. And this is what he said under cross-examination. That the first assailant, or the first intruder, was not really tall, but he was shorter. He was not dark, not light. He used the word cappuccino. He had the high cheekbones, which were longish. He also used the word izikomo. He also had dreadlocks up to his neck. And that is what he told this court as a full description of the first assailant. Did you get that?
I understand, my lord.
Thank you.
Ngiyakuzwa ke ukuthi uthini ke uthe uma eseqhubeka ke noma esho ke ubufakazi bakhe ke uMthokozisi mayesemchaza ke ukuthi ke lo muntu lona ke wayengempofu ke wayeke nokuthi futhi ke wayeneyikhomo ngendlela awayisho ngayo wasebenzisa ke negama elithi ke cappuccino. Ngiyakuzwa.
Then finally, Mr. Madlala, Tumelo Madlala, actually not finally, Tumelo Madlala went on to describe the first assailant as a person with dreadlocks and big eyes. Do you understand?
I understand, my lord.
Ngiyakuzwa ke uma uthi uTumelo yena wamthatha nanjengomuntu ke owayenamehlo amakhulu kanye futhi namadread.
Thank you. Now, because in the case that you are investigating, you said there are certain things that you know about this case, and there are certain things that you do not know about this case, and I can't fault you on that. This is a description that the witnesses gave of the person who they allege was wielding a firearm when he got into the house. Do you understand?
I understand, my lord.
Nanjengoba ke khona ushilo ukuthi khona ongakwazi khona okwazi ukuqala indlela ke abantu laba abasendlini ke abathi lo wayephethe isibhamu wayebukeka ngayo. Ngiyakuzwa.
Thank you. My lord, it has been indicated to me that probably it's an opportune time to request on behalf of my colleagues and all Sunri that we take a short adjournment.
Yeah, okay, 15 minutes.
Thank you, my lord.